You know, I'm gonna make a short, quick video, maybe, depending on how much blathering I do. But anyway, couple of things. Got a comment about the camera angle being not good, so I'm gonna lower the camera a little bit, see if that helps. Not much I can do with this workspace, and you know the budget we're on here, which is pretty much. It's you know, it's an extravagant budget that we're on here. Let me tell you. So anyway, we're doing the best we can with what we got, and I always appreciate feedback. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. As far as the camera angle goes, yes, it was not good. So maybe this will be better. Anyway, couple of things. So you can see I'm working on the infill process. Got the old shedderation here. Is well, it's packed with under the desk with some gifts, Christmas presents for the grandkids, and well, the best place I know to hide them is right there under the deck, where they can't, you know, necessarily get at them. But there have been questions, you know, questions have been raised about what's all those boxes under the desk. But hey, you know, it's model making supplies, and it's balsa wood and kits and tools. That's what that is. It's not, but that's what we tell them. Anyway, doing the infill, you probably noticed, like as before, there's a demarcation on all of the infill pieces, and that's just an orientation for me. When I'm lining these up to make the cuts, I need to know which is the front and which is the back. So for instance, while I'm using up all my scrap, this isn't typically how I do this, but when I have a lot of scrap, I'll just pick up the pieces here and just start, you know, randomly infilling. Or not randomly, but, you know, for instance, in this case now, we're going to start from the aft fuselage, work our way forward. And doing that will alternate from side to side. But what I need to make sure of is that when I'm cutting these, you know, I know which end was the front and which end was the top. In other words, I don't want to, I'll slice a piece off, it'll land on the deck, I'll pick it up, and I might have it, you know, backwards or upside down. So to avoid that, what I do is I just put a small dot or X, or, you know, maybe even the number 9, and just something at the front top of each of these pieces before I cut them free, so that I know which way I've got them oriented. And again, the reason for that is that these openings are not perfectly straight and parallel. Some of them are quite a bit wonky, skinnier at one end than the other, maybe a bit of an off angle at the bulkhead in some cases. I don't know, sometimes that happens for who knows what reason. Poor modeling, poor skills. But anyway, so that's what the little marks are, and of course they sand right off. You know, it doesn't matter what I use on it. I'm using a Sharpie. This is what I typically use when I'm marking and cutting the strip stock or the sheet stock into strips. Right, so I've got the battery mocked in here along with its switch. The switch is going to lay, it's taped under here, but it's when I get to that point, it's going to lay across here sideways, more or less, and possibly even recessed just a little bit. I don't know about that, but I do think I'm going to have to block underneath and behind this to make it sturdier, so that I'm not pressing that switch and pushing through. Now this will be quite strong once it's completely infilled all the way around. You might be surprised how tough this makes a fuselage. I mean, it's really strong. And then when I've put a few coats of this stuff on, which the wood just drinks this up, it makes it even tougher. So I'm not too concerned about reinforcing this, but I think I'll do it anyway, just because. And all I'll probably do is stand up a couple of pieces of balsa behind it, run to the deck here, which, you know, again, it's not ideal, but it'll be stronger than what I've got. Here you can see how the battery looks in the compartment, with the rear compartment sealed off now. It does protrude a little bit into the forward compartment, so forward and aft compartment, but there is enough room to spin and pull and rotate the battery out, especially once this door is cut out. Now the door is going to be wider even than this. I think what we're going to do is come all the way over to here. On the drawing, it's quite wide, the passenger door, and this type of door doesn't swing this way. It actually flops down with a stair on it and a handrail, so that's actually better for me too. I won't have hinges interfering with the battery removal. The hinges will be down here underneath, either here or off of this spar stringer. It remains to be seen. I'm going to try and do it off of this one because this is stronger. It's got the deck on it, and it should be high enough, definitely, you know, high enough to get the battery through. I just need to make sure it's wide enough. And so if the door is a little wider than scale, that's fine with me. I don't know about you, but it's fine with me, because the real key point here is to be able to change the battery when it dies, if it dies. I don't know how much light actuation is going to be going on. I don't know how many times the light's going to be turned on and off, is what I'm saying. It might be a lot, it might be a little, who knows. But anyway, there we are. All right, so not much else has happened other than the infill is underway now. You've probably seen the tail surfaces in another video, right? I don't know if I've you know, done this fun thing with them, you know, but you know, that looks pretty good. And once we get everything rolling, we'll get the tail, you know, we're at that point where we're installing the tail to the airplane. She should look pretty good. I don't know, this isn't going to sit here for me now, probably, but something like that. Right, not bad. All three of these have to come to a point here, and then we'll get everything cleaned up and filled in here, and we'll put the tail, lower fuselage tail cap on, get a light out the tail for the, as part of the nav lights, the white tail light. I got to get that strung yet, so, you know, before anything gets glued together, we're going to be continuing to mock up the electrical stuff, the lighting. But I wanted to get the battery in there before I seal this up, and then that'll force me to make sure that I get the door cut in right, because the only way to get to the battery at that point will be to cut a hole in the fuselage. My least favorite thing is to do surgery on a perfectly good model fuselage, but hey, you know, this is, if we want the lighting, we got to do the stuff, and that's what we got to do. So, you know, you want to, for me, this is an exercise in, you know, a test. You know, can I do this? Can I add to my, you know, skill set and add lighting to these kits, and do it in such a way that that's effective, that it works, it's concealed completely within the aircraft. The only thing exposed when we're done here will be that little switch underneath the fuselage, the on-off switch. Everything else will be buried in the airplane, and you know, it'll be done that way. I didn't want to do everything in the base and then have the wiring going up the base into the airplane, and then have the airplane have to be then permanently attached, or some strange connection, you know, electric wiring connection there that pop off, and something else for me to have to install and do. So I wanted to do it this way, and you know, and that's the way I wanted to do it. Okay, so that's our kit. This is our new camera angle for now. We'll test this out and see how it flies, and you know, if everyone approves, then we'll keep the camera here for a while and see if that fixes the problem. I know it was a little too high, a little too distant from the desk. You know, even if you're watching on an iPad, you know, you might be able to do zoom and get a little closer to the action, or what have you. But for this a general viewership, you know, on a typical screen, it was probably a little too far away from the work. Maybe this is better. I hope so. That's my short video. I don't think there's anything else for me to talk about right now. I'm going to continue doing the infill. I'll come back with updates when we get a little further along, when I start, you know, getting the wing center section going. And then as soon as we can, we'll get to if we get to the point where we need to start fabricating landing gear, and then we'll need to get the engine nacelles up and running. Obviously, we're going to do landing gear. We need nacelles. We need some place to stuff them, the landing gear, that is. Okay, so there you go. Everybody, hope you're having a great day, and thanks for viewing. Appreciate you.